Yeah, so there's 2 things lit on the loading screen now. So I'll save again. Oh, and I may as well hit up the inn while I was here. While I am here. I was thinking about just running right to the next thingamabob because, you know, I could probably get by just fine. But if it's right here, I may as well take the opportunity. But now my amount of monies isn't going to be as satisfying. Yeah. Ah, well. Ah, well. Time to go to the Felsun Ruins. I think I still have evasive maneuvers rather than elemental augmentation on Particio. That's fine. That's fine there. I don't think I need elemental augmentation to get past these thingamabobs here. I'll slap it back on before the final boss.
I'll do what I must.
But yeah.
Prepare yourself.
Alright, bye! Successfully escaped. Yeah, let's see what's happening in here. What is happening over this way? So will this be the one for Particio Oswald then, maybe? Mayhap?
Howdy there, friend.
I would have thought Felsun Ruins for Temenos, but, you know, the actual
Here I come.
Flame Church makes the most sense for him and all that. Yeah, maybe I should have done that one last for, like, the cool climactic thing. Ah, well. Ah, well. Doesn't matter. Ooh, lore? Journal fragment. I hope there wasn't lore at the last one that I just missed. Yeah. I did it, diary. I finally got hired as a scrivener, and for the Delta Times, too. All the world's information flows through a newspaper, a river of facts alongside a paper water wheel, an endless procession of scoop, scoop, scoop. As a journalist, I'll dash about the world investigating, uncovering, and breaking news. What better way for me to carry out my mission? I've thought about this a lot, and everyone has some fact they're hiding. Vast of knowledge locked in noggins the world over. How to crack open these repositories and acquire those tasty secrets within. That's the rub, of course. As I am now, I doubt that I have the dexterity to pick up any of those cranial locks. I was raised in isolation, always out of the loop, hiding quietly on the outskirts of society. There's a positive way to spin that, though. I spent all that time I wasn't talking to people, observing them. Here's what I learned. People let their guard down around cute animals. A scowling guard captain will play cuddly coo with an adorable puppy, and soon confess all his gripes to the precious thing. So, I will become the puppy. I'll wag my little dog tail, act the part of the friendly little non-threatening furball, and slide right into people's confidences. My brother may be the soaring eagle with his bird's eye view, but I'll be a sharp-eyed hound, keeping my nose to the ground and sniffing out every last detail I can find. Is this the character from Particio's story here then? Is that what's going on? Hello's a sandwich. Yeah, we're gonna go fight Odio. I can't wait. Imagine if it actually turned out that the final boss of this game was just like, yep, get pranked. You're facing Odio again. You know? Yeah. Journal fragment 2. My oldest memory is crimson. A spray of bright red droplets and a harrowing scream. A crowd fleeing in all directions, and enemy soldiers mercilessly cutting down innocents. Some of them have even laughed as they did it. Amidst this, I was stone. Still in my tender years, I neither cried nor wept nor cowered, merely watched as the chaos unfold. Would that be unfelled? Would that be proper grammar? Was unfold the word that makes sense there? Watch the chaos. Oh, watch the chaos unfold. That doesn't make sense. I read that as watch as the chaos unfold, but I think my brain auto-filled the word as. Being raised in a war-torn land does things to an impressionable mind, and I suppose something had already been broken inside me. I would have died that day, cut down like the rest, were it not for my brother. His cunning carved a path for us out of that hellish place. My brother is brilliant, so much so that the enemy king spared him if he would serve. Yet despite his genius, despite how shrewd the plans he proposed were in their attempts to avoid bloodshed, the blood always flowed. Humans steal, they kill, they take and they take and they take. Lives, possessions, land. It's a state of our nature, a simple fact of our existence. My brother and I have seen so much together, and we've both reached the same conclusion. The world doesn't deserve to see another dawn. The life of man is nasty, brutish, and ugly. Why not make it short? Oh, if that's the Scrivener from Particio's story, then she's kinda not so great then. Boss's game is actually Sonic the Hedgehog. I should have figured, you know. To fight against a secret boss, even after getting to like mid-level 80s for most of my party and early level 90s for other ones, going around the world doing so many side quests to get like the best equipment that I could get and going in with strategies and builds I thought would be amazing. I still couldn't do it. But, you know, people have apparently done it at lower levels, and considering I've gone around the world collecting, you know, the best equipment and stuff, it's like, okay, well, maybe some Google searching about the way that I can rearrange things means that I'll be able to, you know, just put things together in a certain way that I'll beat it. I don't know. Something for me to figure out another time. You know, let's just beat the game for now. But because I literally designed this team as the Galdera killer, even if it didn't work, it means that I'm wrecking all these main game bosses for the main game stuff that I didn't get around to before, you know? So, there's that. So I am kind of destroying things now, though. I need her on our side, and I need you to convince her that's a good idea. My brother's face was flushed as he handed me the letter addressed to Rai Mei. Perhaps he'd been in his cups. I didn't need to ask him why he would be celebrating. The fundraising in Montwise was going swimmingly. He handed me the letter addressed to Rai Mei. I need her on her side. I need you to convince her that's a good idea. On my way home, I spotted Hikari. He's the key to everything in Ku. If our machinations go according to plan, my brother will get what he's after. I doubt Hikari has a clue who I am. Another tactic proposed by my brother, dearest. No prior familiarity with me will help move things along down the line. Though Hikari doesn't know anything about me, I certainly know a lot about him. Hikari has another side to him, a second personality that my brother says was born from his family's cursed lineage. Somewhere in the past, Clan Ku's blood mingled with that of the infamous Archmage Darkest, sparking a history of war and sacrifice. More odious bloodline I do not know. Oh, look! Odio! As I passed Hikari in the street, for a moment I felt as if our eyes met. His gaze was steady and true, just as it was when he was a boy. How had that bright spark in his eyes not dimmed over time? He had seen the same horrors I had, been through the same terrible war. Dear! But no, I just like to imagine that's totally Live Alive's Odio. You know, as cool as it is to have a secret boss of the final boss from the first game, how cool would it have instead to have had the secret boss, or just in addition, just have two secret bosses, have a secret boss in this game that was the final boss of Live Alive? Like, that would have actually been so hype, especially after Live Alive came out, like, what, it was last summer? Or something like that now? It came out, like, very soon after Triangle Strategy there. That would have been so hype, considering Live Alive was, you know, kind of the key inspiration for Octopath Traveler there, after all. Just have the, so soon after the Live Alive remake, just slap the final boss from that game into this. That would have been so cool to have an Odio secret boss. I would have been pretty hyped for that. But yeah, that boss has a lot of health. Oh, I believe it. I mean, but I can deal a lot of damage. This is bad. Hikari was captured before I had the chance to deliver my brother's letter to Rai Mei. If Hikari is killed, it'll ruin everything. Okay, so that was during that one chapter of his story. It'll ruin everything, and I'll have to start over from scratch. Clan Mei calls the fortress of Stormhail its home. Coldest place in Celestia, and I hate it. Time is of the essence, yet this frigid blizzard is battering me about like a leaf in the wind. If only I could take 2 steps back without being blown 3 back. 2 steps without, yeah. My word. I can't words. By the time I finally reached Stormhail, Hikari had already been released. I can only assume he managed to sway Rai Mei on his own. I handed my overdue missive to one of Rai Mei's retainers. Quickly put that chilly place behind me. But yeah. Library had 2 copies of Live Alive. Wonder why, though? Yeah, why aren't they constantly being checked out for people to go face off against Odio? And played, like, the amazing Far Future Tale. Man, like, playing the demo, that Far Future Tale was so slow, and I really was not a big fan of it at first, but by the time that I got to the end, that was easily my favorite of, you know, the 8 stories there. Like, that was amazing. I might have liked it a little bit more than even the overall story. Like, I think my favorite was Far Future and then overall story, and then I don't know where I'd rate things from there. You know, you gotta applaud the near future, though, for, you know, if ever you're wondering how to progress, just go to the crapper, and chances are that's how you're gonna progress the near future story. Like, we can't understate the narrative, I don't know, complexity behind that, you know? Oswald is sentenced to life imprisonment. It took me a moment to process the judge's verdict. I blinked, doubting my ears. What was going on here? He was supposed to be executed, wasn't he? I ran as fast as I could to find Harvey. I should have known. That swine had stuffed leaves into the judge's pocket to bribe him into that decision. Why? I want him to see the power of my perfected magic. That's his reason, the blighted fool. Pride, worthless pride. We need the Book of Demons complete. What if Oswald somehow finds a way to interfere? When I gave my report to my brother, he simply said, just watch the spectacle unfold. Apparently, my brother had already taken Harvey's massive ego into account when he made his contract with the man. If that's the case, then I suppose this isn't a problem after all. Regardless, I should hurry and gather what information I can about Frigid Isle. But yeah, got Tales of Vesperia and Grosh Mickey. It's good. I don't know what Grosh Mickey is there. Tales of Vesperia has some cool aspects about it. At the end of the... It's the kind of game where it's like, once I was all the way through it, I am very glad that I played it because it had some fascinating things going for it. And, you know, aspects that I could see other JRPGs that I later played clearly borrowed from it. Like Bravely Default with the airship and stuff like that. Very similar idea. I mean, I assume that it was probably borrowed at least there. Most likely. So it was fascinating from that perspective. You know, same with some other classic games that I've played around here. Like the retro Metal Gear games, for example. Where it's like, yeah... I don't know if that was quite for me all that much fun-wise, but I'm glad that I played it and I have that under, like, my gaming experience belt, you know? Whoops. That's the kind of way that Tales of Vesperia was for me. Harvey has left for Dusk-Ruined Shrine. The remains of Archmage Darkest will provide the final piece that Harvey needs. The Book of Demons will soon be complete. I found a nice, cozy place to conceal myself. And sure enough, Oswald showed up, just as predicted. The two fought it out, and I was able to retrieve the Book of Demons in the wake of their battle. There was one surprise, however. Harvey escaped alive. Like, after the final chapter with Oswald? What was that bright flash of magic? A glimpse of a force that may dwarf even that of the Book of Demons. That girl, does she have some special power within her? Oswald's kid there? Basically, Harvey has a massive ego and will to the ends of the earth. Wait, but he didn't try to kill Oswald. He wanted Oswald to see his magic there and stuff. I concealed myself among the chattering students and slipped into Harvey's lecture, so I did these last two out of order. I wasn't sure which one was gonna be next there, so Book of Demons is nearly complete, so he was in a jovial mood. When I saw my chance, I gave Harvey the news. Oswald had tried to escape Frigid Isle and died in the attempt. I thought the news would throw his high spirits off a cliff. But instead, he just started giggling. It's creepy. When he finally settled down, he merely said, I need to prepare for my guest's arrival, and vanished back into his laboratory, humming cheerfully all the while. It's like he thinks Oswald is alive. Is Oswald alive? Can't be. Yet, if so, then he will come here to find Harvey and seek his vengeance. Wait, this could be perfect. I doubt Harvey will honor our agreement and hand over the Book of Demons without a fuss. If I can set those two against each other, it might create the perfect opportunity to slip in and swipe the book. I wonder if my brother had predicted this too. And yeah, the fight. And somehow, Palpatine returned. I mean, somehow Harvey is alive? Oswald entrusted the girl Elena to his assistant before setting off on a journey. Like Apaltes, the blood of the Lumina family runs in Elena's veins. I'll need to continue monitoring her to watch for suspicious signs. Day after day, Elena sits at her desk and pours herself into her studies. Diligent girl, I suppose, but I am curious as to why her brow sometimes wrinkles as she cradles her head in her hands. Still, her eyes are bright and her gaze seemingly set on some happy goal far off in the distance. A marked difference from when I saw her in Harvey's company. There was only worry and fear in her eyes then. My heart nearly leapt out of my throat when I heard that assistant's voice suddenly ring out behind me. Can I help you, miss? I immediately turned and tried to distract and dissemble with my tried and true cover story. Can I interest you in a newspaper subscription? She smiled then, eyes warm, but I sense a keen suspicion burning deep within those friendly eyes. I will not underestimate her again. No one else has ever noticed me when I didn't want to be found, only to abandon my surveillance. Too risky. Besides, I've seen nothing suspect in all that time I've watched Elena. Might as well move on to more important matters. Game Theory Harvey will be back for the next game, but hey, that's just a theory, a Game Theory. Yeah, Harvey along with Odio. We'll see them both make a return here. And along with, oh man, what was his face from Live Alive? The guy of the place that had all the salt. Oh man. I can't remember exact details of names and stuff like that. I just remember like the geopolitical landscape of Triangle Strategy and what a masterpiece it was, you know. Man, what was his the guy that wanted to make himself the demigod and stuff and, you know, create a narrative for people to believe in because he kind of hated people and stuff. Yeah, then there'll be a cameo by Zen. In a couple of days when I go to Anime-thon, I will be going as Zen. That means that maybe I should whip out some of the Gorilla Glue and repair some of my costume pieces because they're kind of falling apart a little bit. It's been a little while since I've gone into it. Well, here I am in Candlebrine. Word is that I can find someone who has the lost pages of the Book of Night's original manuscript. Caldina, captain of the Sacred Guard, seems to be moving as Arcanet predicted, and assembling these pages. There's a potential problem, however. A nosy inquisitor named Temenos seems to have caught wind of all this. Arcanet has her eye on him, but I can only pray he doesn't make any problems for us. I'll need to be careful not to draw his attention too. The Book of Night is close to being fully restored. Once it is, I'll need to move quickly to retrieve it and fulfill my mission. Allying myself with Arcanet was merely the easiest means to that end. Is there a slight blurry effect on some of the text that goes away when it's in the center of the screen? Like you read moved quickly to and it's clear, but there's like a very tiny blur on the letters above it. And now that one's clear, or am I no, I'm losing my mind. No, it looks like the blur is sticking around and the line with quickly to is sticking. I'm going crazy. I don't know. My brother did tell me to be wary of her, however. He was quite forceful about it. Wonder why. Caldina, captain of the Sacred Guard, is driven by a lust for vengeance. To achieve that end, she seeks to make the power of Shadow her own, and with the restored Book of Night in hand, she sets out for the Twilight Shrine. Her naive dream of avenging her people will never become reality. Why, you ask, dear diary? Because the right Arcanet taught her is purposefully flawed. So there. Oh, is that why she became a monster in that story? So there I was, hiding in the shadows of the Twilight Shrine and waiting for the perfect opportunity. Lo and behold, Caldina's right went awry, and she transformed into a most hideous form. No one told me I'd have to deal with some horrible monster. This is above my pay grade. Luckily, I had no need to fear. That Temenos showed up and handled the Caldina problem for me. I suppose Arcanet was behind this well-timed arrival, his well-timed arrival. What a puppet master, bravo. I finally understand why my brother warned me to keep an eye on her. I slipped down to the ritual site after Temenos made his exit and retrieved the Book of Night. All that's left is to combine it with the Book of Demons, and we will soon be able to complete the Dark Blood Grimoire. Grimoire Vice! No, oh my goodness, they're all over the place now. Here I am, grand old Timberrain, just in time for the coronation ceremony. Word on the street is that an apothecary named Trousseau is going to rain on the parade with a storm infused with shadow energy. His goal, and I quote, is to extend a hand to save all in need. What a nice notion. Let's rewind the clock. It was 1 year ago that Trousseau lost hope in the future and started down this path. He was out gathering medicinal herbs when he stumbled into Lost Seed. Oh, there he met Claude, who gave him the Book of Night. Claude was disappointed with the encounter, it seems. He had swayed Trousseau to his side, but couldn't persuade an apothecary in the man's company. With a regretful sigh, he told me that this other apothecary's eyes were filled with a motherly strength, deep wells of kindness that belied a sense of fierce determination. What's her name again? Ah, yes, Casti. She stopped Trousseau, saw the people of Timbrain to safety, and even dealt with the poison rain. As if that wasn't enough, she also managed to mix up medicine that could combat the shadow on the spot. Claude's intuition was right. Casti is someone to keep an eye on. My brother will need to know that we have another dangerous potential wrench in our plans. But yeah, this is what's going on there. We're doing the endgame stuff. So we've cleared all 8 of the Traveler's stories, and now we're doing endgame stuff here. Seeing things come together. I met a merchant today in Clockbank, an honest fellow with laughing eyes named Particio. He's boasted that he'll rustle up 80 billion leaves and buy the rights to the steam engine from its current owner, Mr. Rock. Then he'll give the technology away to everyone. When pressed on why, he said, "Things like this should be shared with the whole world." Particio confuses me. If I can borrow that ruthless Rock's words, it is human nature to take from others and give unto oneself. Despite his noble declarations, I'm sure Particio will prove himself no different from the other slime. Greed and self-interest will win out in the end. They always do. Still, I'm vaguely curious as to how his story will play out. I'll follow this Partitio, though I'll keep my expectations low. Placing your faith in others will only get you betrayed in the end. My brother made a deal with Harvey. Craft the Book of Demons, an evil tome said to be imbued with the magic of Darkest himself. Why, you ask? Well, dear diary, because we need it to restore the lost Dark Blood Grimoire. The rub here is that neither my brilliant brother nor even Claude knows how to make this tome, thus the need for Harvey. The one thing my brother does know is that the remains of Darkest are a key component. When I shared that vital tidbit, Harvey smiled. That's all I needed. It sounds like he was already most of the way there. He's a valuable asset, so we'll do everything we can to assist him. Harvey has an unhealthy obsession with a scholar named Oswald. No, let's call it what it is. A severe inferiority complex. Harvey told me he'd gladly give up the Dawn if it meant he could best the man. We let Harvey read the Book of Night in order to pull him into our intrigues. But honestly, I think that wasn't necessary. That bottomless well of envy in his gut, properly manipulated, would likely have been motivation enough. Besides, I don't trust him. No normal person can fathom that twisted mind of his. Berticio's gone and done it. He has gone and done it. He's humbled Rock and actually wrested the rights to the steam engine from that greedy tycoon. Still, that's nothing compared to what he did next. He actually gave it away, just as he said he would. Things like this should be shared with the whole world. He's lived up to that grandiose statement, and then some. The heat of his passion even melted Rock's icy heart. I didn't think the desert sun was hot enough to do that. So, taking a step back, what Partitio did is impossible, unimaginable, inconceivable. I've observed countless people in my time, and to date, every one of them is motivated to varying degrees by self-interest. People are always willing to step on others to achieve their own interests. But Partitio? Is he truly different? Is he someone who can at last transform this dark, ugly world into something wonderful? What do you think, brother? Welcome to my humble castle. That was how he greeted me when I arrived in Lost Seed, before he took me on a casual stroll through that rotting mausoleum of a town. I struggled not to gag on the stench of death and decay, all while him smiling and breathing deep, as if taking in the airs of a tranquil mountain meadow. This ghastly man's name is Claude, and he is the descendant of the infamous Archmage Darkest, which means that Throne is as well, I guess? It is said that his notorious grandfather gave him a taste of the blood of the malevolent god of darkness, Vide, frighteningly enough, while he was still in the womb. As a result, the man is blessed with eternal youth. The blood of Darkest and Vide within his veins, Claude's fate was to become the dark god's vessel, and yet he rejected this destiny, and instead chose to pass that honor on to his offspring. For our part, we don't care who the vessel is, just that we have one. Claude, however, seems to have preferences in the matter. Preferences. The man sired countless children with countless women and set his progeny at each other's throats. To the bloody victor goes the ultimate spoils. I shivered as he looked me up and down, his eyes seeming to pierce my very soul. It was as if he was seeking to plant a murderous seed inside me too. When he handed me the dark blood staff, told me that the woman who stole it for him has a lot of potential. Wait, oh, woman, not women. Woman who stole it for him has a lot of potential. His words. My purpose in Lost Seed fulfilled. I hurried out of there. I can't wait to hand the staff over to Arcanet and let her handle the cathedral's sacred flame. So did I get that staff from her after I took her out? Journal fragment. Dear Diary, today I met with Petrichor, the woman known as the Dark Hunter. I'd introduced her to Professor Harvey several years ago at Arcanet's request. She was talkative today and had this to say. I met Arcanet when I was young, and it was then that I swore myself to her service. Ever since, I have hunted for her and her alone, even slaying the legendary monster known as the Guardian of the First Flame at her behest. Sometimes I hunted people too, like the time I came to possess the Dark Blood bow. Once again, my lady has use of me, so I shall gladly obey. Nodded along, and when she was finished, she showed me a monster. This beast, what she had captured on Totohaha, looked out at me with eyes filled with loathing for all that walked on this earth. I asked her what it was, and she told me the result of years of brutal conditioning and a healthy dose of Harvey's science for good measure. The result, an abomination crafted through repeated and horrifying experiments. I nod again. A soul this steeped in despair would surely prove to be a great source of power. It seems that leaving the flame of Totohaha in her care should prove no issue. I can't believe it. How did Particio turn the economic desert of a town into a hopping commercial hub? That business idea of his was inspired. I must admit that watching Elrond's department store come to life woke something warm inside me. I told Particio that worlds filled with people groaning under the weight of 1,000 problems. It's fresh ideas like this that bring a rare ray of joy into troubled lives. For once, I really truly meant what I said. I should never have poured my heart out in public like that. I suppose my declaration was proof that he's cracked my emotional defenses and convinced me to believe in him. In my defense, he's really something else. Before I knew it, I was promising to help. Truth is, I'm excited to see what magic he'll pull out of his Particio hat next. Guess what, dear diary? This is the first time I've ever helped someone for something that wasn't directly related to my mission. Let me stop for a moment and also appreciate the fact that he's convinced the Elrond to invest 80 billion leaves in him. 80 billion. Question is, will Particio prove to be a man of integrity? Will he really use those leaves to help the world, and not just to line his own pockets? Just a little longer. Only a bit, mind. I find myself needing to see what he does next. Right, well, let's see here. Slap an Oswald here. And then...
Do be gentle.
It's just a random encounter. I was like, triggering a boss. Maybe I shouldn't have moved from there. I mean, I guess I would have needed to move up after using the mirror anyway, right? But yeah. I mean, it sounds like they did kind of move their plan ahead enough that, you know, there's all this darkness over the world now.
Now what have we got here? A sacred flame? Here of all places? Have I stumbled upon a scoop once again? Why, I believe I have. I'm glad that's done. There's no need to keep up this cloying facade. To wear the mask of a chipper, unflappable scrivener. No. Now I bring an end to this dark, wretched world. To liberate its people from their pain, their suffering, and their hatred. Just like I swore to you, brother. Together, we will usher in the night. I kept a close eye on the travelers, all while my allies and I worked behind the scenes. Until at last, I found the book I sought. The Dark Blood Grimoire. With it, I will smother the sacred flames, that they will never again light the way for the dawn. I offer this gift of blood. May the flames turn cold and dark. Mortals. Gods. Who was it that drew the line between them? The blessed? The accursed? Us? Them? Particio. Would that we had never met. I'm sorry.
So, I guess Ori's dead. Their sacred flame burns anew. Ori. I heard from an apothecary in town. A woman was found collapsed near the sacred flame and brought there for treatment. She had brown hair and wore a cap, much like a scrivener. After she regained consciousness, she simply vanished. That's Ori. It's gotta be. If that's true, then what saved her? It appears her wounds fell just short of being fatal. She must have changed her mind, just in the nick of time. She saw the worth in walking toward the dawn. Well, I can hazard a guess as to why she hesitated. I believe it was thoughts of you that saved her life. Me? Now, don't be ridiculous. Like I have anything to do with that. Well, no matter. As long as she's alive, all's well. When Oswald said vanished, I was like, wait, she's alive? I thought vanished in terms of, like, literally fading out like we've seen happen with this kind of thing before. But I guess vanished in terms of, like, she ran out and, you know, back into the world and stuff. Just where did she wander off to? I sure am lucky that you're around to cheer me up, eh? Our journey isn't over. We do well not to waste time in idle conversation. But if you must talk, then perhaps a different topic of conversation would suffice. Oswald, thank you kindly. I should have done a different tone for Oswald's line there. That's what happens when you just see the beginning of the sentence and have to guess what the tone for the rest of it is gonna be. Alright, well. We lit that up. It's a lit. I guess now we go to Tranquil Grotto. Let's get this last one litty. Let's light up the world. Yeah, one last corner to go.